Right. So, in today's session, we are discussing about technical aspects of insurance implementation as far as ESB is concerned. Because, as in when we know, when we wants to develop or we wants to come up with some complex working model of insurance sector, implementing ESB, which is nothing but an enterprise service bus, which is essentially important because ESB plays a key and important part to leverage service-oriented architecture framework, which is we called as SOA, right? So service-oriented architecture framework. At the same time, implementing the kind of set of services which connects with the cloud and on-premise applications and all. So this will become more crucial when uh, there is any kind of linkages between any various business processes in insurance domain, everything. In that regard, when it comes to the ESB service layers, usually it's concerned wherein you can see it on the screen. Whatever the set of common services which connects and as well as accessing the data speed across enterprise systems and provide the data in a format that end users are able to consume as part of the business functions. B2B integration is important because that has to gain some expertise in implementing ESP for insurance companies, wherein in this regard, so that I'm going to explain you like how ESB can be implemented in complex insurance solutions. Like when we try to understand about how it works and all that, right? So wherein here we call a context specific API or any business process. Because ESP framework allow for many different methods of initialization, whether it be a batch jobs or kicked off during another process time events or manual request, etc. So that all these things are passing the appropriate data elements. Once the request is received, then the kind of service layers which we are implementing as well as the kind of parsers that we request will be determined for appropriate actions that are to be taken. Like, for example, when we are implementing any kind of system to query, right? So, what query to be used and which mapping process we are using and how to send the data backup. At the same time, how the data is gathered from appropriate data sources mapped to the insurance company standards formats, and what are the business rules that are applied to the data. Like, for example, if request process has identified any meeting and how the data is returned into predefined way. For example, we are setting up a service with two methods that provide policy and policy summary to a healthcare system. In this use case, when it comes to the claim handling review, at the same time, a new claim applications, as well as the same time, any claim management system, or else any kind of reviews, right? So review buttons are finding the policy informations or by policy number among other required values, or API responses, which brings the policy details of the insured ones, or the kind of claim systems which are implementing when we are working on claims application. All these things can be done in this uh, implementation of complex insurance solutions using ESP. In this regard, normally there are two methods in the claims API, wherein you can see over here. So one is about the get policy. That is the first method which normally we use. At the same time, next second method wherein we use and implement get policy summaries followed by the implementation that we are doing. For example, when we are implementing get policy or method get policy request and all. So this consists of all the details, like right? So we have all the field numbers like policy number, policy prefix, policy suffix, right? So lines of business as it is required, effective date, expiry date, loss date, originating system, requesting system, everything are comes under the first method number one. Second, when it comes to the get policy summaries, where we will be having all the fields, something like full policy number or any policy prefix we have, or we have any kind of policy suffix we have. Prefix and suffix both will be updated as a fields. Lines of business, effective date, loss date, insured name, all that, right? So all the status of the policy, everything can be done here. But when it comes to the data mapping is concerned, because this is where generally we have to map the data to the claim systems, uh, claims to the databases or to the claim management system, to the policy services. Again, for underwriting, which we need to evaluate the kind of risk that is involved, right? So what risk is involved and how this risk can be evaluated. At the same time, once the underwriting process is done, generally we do the quoting, right? So right? So we have to create some policy quotations. Upon request accepted of the policy quotation that is given by us, customer will pay that. So that policy document can be created. So that can be integrated. Even billing services can also integrate, because we are using different mainframe and AS400 legacy systems for a very long time. Now we are transforming, or the kind of file systems or policy management system we are using, so that we can integrate mainframes with renewal coverage renewals if there is any, or if you want to create any kind of business analytical reports you want to create, so that you will be knowing about the status of the reporting services that we are applying. So everything we can do. So implementing ESB, enterprise service bus, to develop insurance solutions, complex insurance solutions in three different layers. Either in the business process level, something like claims, underwriting, quotes, billing, coverage renewals, business analytics, or SOA service layer, which is about claim service or any kind of policy service, any billing or coverage services or reporting services, or it can be system level, either it can be database or claim management system, or it can be AS400 or mainframe file systems or policy management. Everything can be implemented in this regard. This is what the whole understanding over the implementation of ESB for any complex insurance solutions when we are developing, especially irrespective of the applications we are using. Like it can be guideware now and then we are using. We have many other products nowadays we are implementing. This is all about